Hey y'all, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to harvest this pepper. It seems like it's not going to get any bigger, so we're going to harvest this big pepper. It's supposed to, when we got these, this was a plant that we already purchased that had already started growing from our local nursery. It was supposed to, the tag said a bluebell pepper, but obviously I don't think it's going to turn blue. I think it's going to be purple. This is a purple one. So we're going to harvest that one. And then our squash has died on us due to the heat. It got up to like 99 this week, and I guess it was too much for the weather. I mean, the weather was too hot for it. So what we're gonna do is, this one has no squash in it. I'm probably gonna pull that up and maybe start some kale. And then with this one, we're gonna harvest this little squash. So we went to a farmer's market near us, and most of the squash that we got from the farmer's market were about this size. They weren't huge like the ones in the store. So we're gonna go ahead, harvest that, okay? And have a little basket that I'm putting the stuff in. Forgive me if the camera is all lopsided. I'm working off one hand. Markel is kind of doing something in the yard, and the kids are enjoying the outside right now. So I'm going to try to snip this without snipping that little one, which I did good. Okay, great. So yeah, got a purple bell pepper. Then I'm also going to harvest our basil. We've ran out of basil seasoning in the house. So what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna leave some. So this one, it looks fine, but what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna snip it. Probably about right there. Oop, it's kind of hard to snip, that's weird. See, I'm gonna snip that. And what I'm gonna do with the basil is, you could either put it in the oven, I think, and let it dry out, which I did last year. But this year, I want to try to see if I can let it just sit out and dry on its own. Once it literally dries out, you crush it up. Put it in the jar just like you would if it was out the store. And that's how they do it in the store, right? And so I'll snip it down a little bit more. It looks like something is eating it with little holes. So I snip that one. And so basil keeps growing back. It looks like it's bolting, so it may not do that good. But that's what we're gonna go with. So we got that one. And these are little ones. I guess I'll go ahead and snip those as well. So I'll snip this one down about right there. I should really need my scissors. But with these, I don't. You know what? Yeah, I'll just snip it. Okay. So, and I'll leave this one. It looks so small. This one I'll snip, is bolting as well. And I don't know if they're gonna grow back, because usually with basil, I just buy it every year. I never really like keep the same thing. And I have all of these basil plants here that we planted. And we did nothing with them this entire year. I didn't even use them. So I'll go ahead and snip it as well. Snip these 3. And I'm just going to leave those little things just to kind of see if it's going to come back. I don't know. Because like I said, I always. Okay, it's agey wagey. I'm coming, girl. So yeah, so that's what we harvest so far. Yeah, that's what we got. And so I think that's it. I'm trying to look at the garden just to make sure. We also harvest 2 tomatoes this morning from this tree. I mean, from this plant. They were looking like they were really about to go to bed, so I didn't want to keep them. But yeah, so that's all of the harvesting that we're going to do today. And maybe I'll put my basil in the oven just to kind of show you. This is the last time I might do this, but just to kind of show you how I do my basil to make it into a seasoning, a herb seasoning. This is a plant that I've been keeping in this pot, and so it's pretty much wet. I mean, it's pretty much dry, so that's why it looks like this, but literally if I water it now and by tonight it'll be back up. But yeah, I'm not gonna harvest this one because with this one I keep right by the door on a stand. And when we need basil seasoning, and I like it, I really like it fresh. And I'm just harvesting the other ones because they're bolting, and I just kind of want to have it in the seasoning can or seasoning jar or whatever. But yeah, so this one I won't harvest it. So after looking at the green peppers, we also decided to go ahead and snip these. They're pretty good size as well. So I'm just gonna come in right here, snip it, okay, and come in at the other one and snip it. Wow. So got green peppers now. 2 green peppers. All right. So as you can tell, it literally was 5 minutes ago that I pulled this basil up, and it's already wilting. So as you can tell, it would take no time for this to dry out in the sun. But like I said, for you all, I did this last year. I will put this in the oven, let it dry out, and then I will crumble it up. And so I think this is a great harvest that we have. And so we got a purple pepper, green peppers, and yellow squash. Let's get into the making of basil seasoning now. So this is pretty much what I did. I put a piece of parchment paper on this pan, and then I laid the basil out with the stems and all, and I'm going to put it in the oven at about 350 degrees. I'm not sure how long I will keep it in the oven. I'll just periodically check, and I'm not gonna leave it there long. Like every 2 to 3 minutes I'm gonna check it and see if it looks like it's drying out. It has been about 3 minutes, and I kind of forgot that they were in here, but I smelled them, and it smelled really good. And so I said, let me check on them. So it's starting to dry out, but again, I'm gonna leave this in here a little bit longer, and then I'll take them out, let them cool off, and that's when I think they'll be a little more crunchier. While we're waiting for those, I did want to show you all our farmers market haul from yesterday. Me and the kids went to a local farmers market yesterday, and we got a number of things. So we got some zucchini, squash. These 2 bell peppers were from the garden, as well as, I think, yeah, the squash was from our garden, and of course you all know that one. But the rest of this stuff came from the farmers market, and it was so good. Most of the stuff that we've tried so far, because over here we bought these peaches from there, plums. This whole thing was full up. We demolished it between last night and this morning, and yeah. And so we also have some tomatoes, cherry tomatoes in here, cucumbers, like I said, different bell peppers. And I forgot what the lady said this was. She actually gave us these. We did not have to purchase these. I think they were like patty squash or something like that. Something about patty, I think. And then we got a small cabbage. And yeah. And so that's pretty much it. So we're about to turn these cucumbers into pasta. We're gonna have like a raw spaghetti dish tonight. And we'll use the cucumbers as our pasta. And don't mind the table. As you can tell, we are a family. Just to show you guys this as well. So anytime we purchase green onions from the grocery store, we actually put them in these little jars. And so we get like about 2 to 3 uses out of them because we love green onions. I think the only person that really don't like green onions is Hardy. He says he like them, but his face like, eh. but he eats them, whatever. I think he more so does it because we're all eating it and he don't want to feel left out. But anyways, that's what we do with these. So instead of buying them one time, using them and throwing it out, we cut them down to how we want them, and then we'll put them in these jars, and literally I'll keep pulling them out, reusing them until it gets like this eggy odor. That's when I throw them out. Like it gets like this smell that I feel like is going bad, so I'll just throw them out then. Now we're about stuff on the table. We are a family that schools from home, so you see paints, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. And my kids are always holding on to seeds. I literally wash their clothes every week, sometimes every other day, and I'm telling you, I find seeds in their pockets all of the time. I think this might be Hari's stash and this might be Rennie's. And also I wanted to show you guys my pineapples. In our last video I did mention that I use pineapple tops after we cut our, before we cut up our pineapples, we screw the top, twist the tops off, and we peel the layers back on them, and then we place them in the jars. And then see how these were not here, these roots were not here at all. And so yeah, some of them, like 3 of them I had here for a while. So that one was one, this one was one, and this one was one. But the other 4, and I need to come, usually I'll come and like trim these brown ones off with my scissors. I really need to do that and change the water as well. If you all listened to my last video, I did mention that once the water starts getting cloudy, I'll change it. It is getting a little cloudy now, so I'll probably do that today. Y'all see my cantaloupe season of that? You see it. But yeah, so that's how I do that. So the 2 pineapple trees that you're seeing outside literally started off a little like this. And when I took them out the door, now they're starting to grow and they have really big roots. Let's check on the basil though. Okay, so the basil looks done. So I'm gonna cut the oven off and I'm gonna set this on the counter, let it cool off. And like literally, I think we can do it now. Let's see. Yeah, they look pretty good to me now. I think so. Let's see. Yeah. So literally, I take them and it looks just like the basil out of the store. And I am feeling like some of them are still, the leaves are still a little wet. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and keep crumbling the herb, the leaves that are really dry. And then from there, if it's still some wet ones, I'm gonna let it sit for about 2 minutes. Let me put the oven back on because I feel like I'm gonna have to. I can tell by how some of the leaves are feeling they're not completely dried out. I'll put it back in. But as you guys can tell, this is herbs. If you buy basil seasoning out of the store, you can do this at home, you guys. You can do this at home, and don't mind my hands, y'all. They have been drying out lately. And I've washed my hands when I went to the bathroom. I haven't put any oil back on them this time. I need to go in there, you know, just for the people who judging like, ooh, they got dry hands. That's why, baby. Okay. I feel like every time the season changes, like in the middle and right at the beginning, my skin is like shitting. But yeah, there you have it. We have basil. And if you have a number of plants, like, you know, with basil, you don't really have to use a lot unless you know you want to. And I use basil in like Italian. Yeah, that's pretty much how we do that. So those leaves, that leaf, I think I'm gonna put that one back in the oven. So I'll put that one to the side. And like this stem, I'll just throw back to the compost. I'm pretty sure I can probably dry it out or something, but I never really do anything with the stem. It's just easier for me to drop the whole thing in the oven instead of peeling off wet leaves, you know what I mean? Or leaves that are still kind of alive. And so literally, I just crush. Crush. No leaf left behind, so make sure, you know what I mean? That's one thing about when you're growing your own things, herbs and fruits and veggies. Every little bit counts. So, you know, and this was from those little snips that I did out the door. And then, like I said, that one plant sits by the door, and I love the fresh basil. To me, it gives it like a more powerful taste. But just so they won't go to waste and just sit in the garden. And so I'll go ahead and put that one back in like it has a little bit more. But yeah, so this is what we have here. I mean, literally, you got basil seasoning, right? I'll make some good lasagna. As a matter of fact, I use it in our spaghetti that I'm about to make for lunch. I said dinner, but it's actually going to be lunch. It's about 2 something. We kind of had a snack an hour ago, and so kind of hungry now. But yeah, there you have it, basil. You know, if you want it finer, you know, crushed up even more, you know, you can keep playing with it or whatever, but I'm okay with how it looks. Yeah, I'm okay with how it looks. And I'll just put it in our jars. So, as a matter of fact, I won't. So, I forgot that I never threw the actual basil thing out, but as you can tell, we were running out. And so, it's perfect. And so, as you can tell, it looks really no different. I feel like the one in the store turned a little bit darker because it's been here longer. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and put that in here, in our basil leaves jar. And it probably might work best if you use like a funnel. You know what? Let me get my funnel. Okay. Funnel. Right. So yeah, we transferred it over. And I'm just going to shake it in there. And we got a little bit more basil. But yeah, that looks pretty good, you guys. So let me know if you're gonna try this, and you know, how did you like it? I also forgot to mention that we got blueberries from the farmer's market yesterday. So we got 3 of these. And then this, we also got okra. The lady actually gave us the okra. And this jar was full of okra. Markel, I got this for him and the kids. I don't like okra. It's not the taste that I don't like, it's the texture. So he pickled these last night, and as you can tell, like I said, the jar was full and it's completely empty now. So it is the next morning, June 5th. And so what we did was also harvest our tomatoes. The tomatoes that I showed you all yesterday, they appeared to be okay on the outside. I don't know if I showed you all that yesterday, but I'm pretty sure I did. But if not, it was some tomatoes we pulled yesterday that were 2 tomatoes. And on the outside, they appeared to be fine. But once I cut them open, they were black, like black stuff in it, and so I threw them back to the compost. So last year when we harvest some tomatoes that a plant fell or popped or something like that, we actually looked up online, and it said that if we set them up on the counter, they'll actually turn red after a while. So that's what tomatoes do. So actually that's what we did with all of our tomatoes. The reason being is because you see how this one looks. I think it's not gonna really turn out too great if we leave it on the vine. And then what's another one I saw? And like this. So when it looks like this little splitting, and I think it's due to being overwatered by Mother Nature. This one started turning, which made me believe it wasn't getting any bigger, so I went ahead and pulled that one just in case it started getting affected. And then we just went ahead and just cut all the real fat ones. The real fat ones, or medium-sized ones, or anyone that was starting to look affected, we went ahead and cut it. Like this one, this was on the plant for a while. As you can tell, it's not really greenish. It's trying to turn oranges so it can go to yellowish. So I went ahead and pulled that one. I accidentally snipped this little one, but I think these 2 little ones, but I think it was okay because looking at them, they didn't really look like they were going to probably do much more. So I snipped those. But yeah, so that's pretty much the harvest for this morning, June 5th. As always, thank you guys for watching our video today. We really appreciate it. If you like this short video, please be sure to like the video, and also hit the subscribe button so that you can stay connected with us. And don't forget to also hit the notification bell so you can get notified of any new content that we upload. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate it.